I get that question a lot. Like, what kind of advice would you give to people or to aspiring DJs and to anybody? I think this really translates to any profession and any person. Again, it's more personal than a career thing. But
Hmm.
I would say just be authentic, be
Hmm.
true to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing that's more rewarding than just being comfortable in your own skin, being 100% authentic into who you are. I do not subscribe to the saying "fake it till you make it." I'm not a fan of that. Like, a lot of people do, and they put on this facade and they put on this fancy clothes and outfits for the social media and trying to get those clicks, man. And listen, for some people, it pans out. You can't deny that for sure. You put this persona on of who you are, who you think you are, who you want to be, but it's not sustainable, right? Like, if you want like real, true happiness or success in this life, just be yourself, man. Be authentic. Be 100% you.
Life gets tough, and I know it's hard to cope with the unknown. For all of us, I know it'd be easy if we were perfect, but we're not. So we go to find our faith, to find our hope. It all begins with looking up. It all begins with you. It's time to elevate.
Yeah, let's do it. It's time to
We
elevate.
sing it loud and proud. We make our voices known. Nothing can shut them out. Elevate.
Welcome to Time to Elevate podcast. I'm your host, Ann Lucente. If you've been here with me before, welcome back. And if it's your first time, I'm so happy you're here. You know, sometimes in life gives us moments so extraordinary, they feel guided by something greater. And that's exactly how I felt when I met my guest today. Some people have a gift for creating unforgettable experiences, and he is one of them. I first met him when he was the MC for my meet and greet with Henry Winkler, a day that was a dream come true, one I had envisioned since I was 15 years old. Meeting Henry was surreal, but what truly elevated the day to something divine was the presence of our MC. He wasn't just a host, he was the heart of the event, bringing joy, so much energy, and a sense of connection that made everyone feel seen and heard. His ability to create such an unforgettable atmosphere felt like divine intervention, like he was meant to be there, ensuring this day would be one of the best of my life. He has a way of making people feel like they've known him forever. So let me just tell you a little bit about him. He is a born and raised New Yorker, which is probably why we get along so well, and not just a talented DJ and MC. He's a producer, songwriter, and entertainer. His unique style is a combination of influences that span many generations and genres. This allows him to seamlessly blend old school classics with contemporary hits. His majestic voice and unsurpassed energy is what sets him apart from the rest, and his passion is unparalleled. I cannot wait for you to meet him today. So let's get it going. Dive into this conversation with the incredible DJ, MC, producer, songwriter, and entertainer, my friend, DJ Grand Finale, Andrew Torres.
What's
Yeah!
up? And that was amazing. What an intro. I'm going to bring you around everywhere I go.
I'm gonna
How
come
we
with
doing,
you.
Aaron? That was beautiful. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here today. I really appreciate it.
Oh my God, it's so wonderful to have you here. I am so thrilled that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you again, and for that beautiful intro. And just know all the feelings there are mutual. Feel like I've known you my
Oh,
whole life, and really appreciate you having me here today.
oh my God, I do too. I'm telling you, from the minute I met you, I'm not kidding you. From the minute I met you, like the minute we walked through that door, and I won't get into my Henry Winkler story now, but
We will, but we'll get there.
we'll get there. We'll get there. It was like I'm not kidding you. Like, of course, that moment of meeting him was like unbelievable. But you were there. I think you were like at the door. You were like, "Come on in." Like usually you go to these things, and it is like I don't want to say the worst, but you don't feel like you even should move. Like, don't go anywhere. Don't touch anything. No, you can't sit there. I remember saying, I think it was to you, "Can we sit in the front?" You're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like you were just so welcoming. I felt like I was coming into your house. It was just
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you felt that way, and that's certainly something that I always try to do when I'm hosting an event or I'm seeing an event is making people feel comfortable, making them feel like they're supposed to be there and that they're ready to have the best time, the best experience that they possibly can. So
Oh,
I'm
it
very
it
happy.
it truly was, 'cause I'm not kidding, you made that even better, it was just phenomenal, and I say divine intervention because I know you have that same feel like me about the divine intervention thing in life, throughout
100%.
life, right? So,
Yes.
we met then, what I think it was May, because I remember it was May, it was, like, my birthday month, so I was like, "Okay, hey, we should be in touch," right? Gave car exchanged cards.
Yes.
I think I reached out once, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'll reach out, later on." It was, like, a couple months or more later, and then, that morning, I go, "Oh, I should reach out to Andrew," and no joke, I get on there, and you had messaged me. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
It was. I remember that. It was incredible. But
I
that's
could
how
not believe
this
it.
world works, right? That's how energy and these things that connect us all at play here. And I truly
Yes.
believe in that. You know what I mean? There's no accidents. And at the same time, there was a wavelength there that was being felt between us. And in that moment, it was like, you know what? I need to reach out. It's been a while, and here we are,
I
right?
couldn't believe it. I
Yeah.
must have sent you a message like, "Oh, let me think about Andrew."
That's it. That's how it
Oh
goes.
my
And it was
god.
received. I got it. So
Thank
we're
you.
here.
Thank you. I love that
Thank you.
connection. I love it. I love it.
Me too.
So, I wanna do this really I've never done this on here before, but are you okay with angel cards?
Sure. I don't know much about angel cards, but
I don't
I'm good.
basically, I'm just gonna pick a word.
Okay.
I'm gonna shuffle, and I've never ever done this, but before I was like, "Hey,
Okay.
they're sitting here." I always have them sitting here, and I do this once in a blue moon, and
Okay.
you tell me when to stop, and I'll just tell you what the word is. All right?
Okay. All
All right.
right. Sounds good.
So you tell me when. I'm gonna
When?
okay, this is the word. Let's see. What is it?
What's the word?
Acceptance is the word.
Acceptance. It's a good word. It's a great
Oh,
word.
that's not a bad word. I like that. That could be for both sides, not just acceptance like bad things, like, "Okay, this is happening." That's like accept the good things, right?
Well, I think like what you had just said about like when you come into a place and you're not really sure where to sit or where to go or
Right.
like again that's what I'm there to do. I'm trying to bring some sense of acceptance as yes, come on in. You're supposed to be here. This is what you're meant to be in
Yeah,
that time and in that moment. So I think that
that's
speaks to me when you
perfect.
say acceptance. I thought about that right away.
That is the perfect word for you.
I
I love
like
it.
that. There you go.
That
Perfect.
was
All right, we're up and running now,
that's
and
it.
let's
That
do
was
it.
it. That's a new thing now.
That's
I'm gonna
it.
have to do that all the
I
time. So
like that. I love it. I love
so
it.
so I want to introduce you before we get to everything you do because you do these phenomenal things and how you got here and everything else. I
Sure.
a little bit about you. I'm happy that you're a native New Yorker. Not that I'm
Indeed.
prejudiced, but
Proud. You see, I
yeah,
put that in my bio. Proud.
I love
Proud,
it.
born and raised New Yorker.
I
Absolutely.
love it. And you're from where? Are you from Brooklyn or are you from where?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
Yeah,
Okay.
originally from Brooklyn. I live up in the Hudson Valley now. It's where I grew up here. But my family is still very rooted in Brooklyn. My grandparents, my aunt, my uncle, my cousins are all still down there. So it's definitely Brooklyn born, New York raised. I love this area too, the Hudson Valley where I live and where I work. It's a beautiful place, and I'm again very proud, born and raised New Yorker for sure. It's part of who I am, no doubt about it.
Me too. Me too. I have a shirt because I'm from the Bronx, so it says the Bronx where my story began. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly, right? And that's every story begins that way, right? No matter where we end up or where we go to next, wherever that is, it
Yes.
always starts in that one place. So it's very special to me for sure.
It's true, and I'm in the Hudson Valley too now. See, look at that. We are oh, that's it. We're related. I know it.
That's how it goes. That's it, right? Yeah, yeah. That's
We're
indeed.
definitely related. So I know you have I have to say this first, you have a beautiful family and a growing beautiful family. So you just
Yes.
had tell
Thank
me.
you. Yes, we just had our second daughter just a few weeks ago. Actually, about a month ago from yesterday when we're
Oh,
recording this, but 1 month ago already. It's crazy how
uh,
fast. But our
that's
second daughter, we have my wife and I got married last year as
oh,
well.
great, great.
So it's been a busy couple years for me, especially
Yeah.
personally and professionally. But my wife and I welcomed our second daughter. We have a 1.5-year-old girl, and Arabella is her name, and our
Oh,
newest daughter,
beautiful.
Kaliana, who has
Oh,
been here for a month.
beautiful.
And
Beautiful
they
names.
are my pride and my joy. They are everything. I
Oh.
love them so much.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, we're gonna get into a little bit of, like, how you balance things in a few minutes, but first
Sure,
but
sure.
so you grew up in Brooklyn, you live in the Hudson Valley, you said, right? Um,
Yes.
did you like, how did you first of all, why'd you leave Brooklyn? Was it just kind of just moving up or
Yeah, I was a kid actually when we moved out. So my parents, had decided to make the move from Brooklyn to here to the area.
Mhm.
I was in school at the time, but they decided to move to try to offer a better life for my brother and I, just like any hardworking parent tries to do and tries to elevate themselves,
right.
right? So my dad and my mom, they saw an opportunity at that time, and uh, a place that again provided more of a life for my brother and I. We could do more. We can
Right.
be more than who we are. Obviously, in Brooklyn, there's a lot going on, and especially in that time. And
Right.
my parents had seen a lot of things, in the Bronx, in the city, and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was their hard work and their ability to put us first that
Right.
kind of led us here to the Hudson Valley, and then in turn did
Right.
provide a wonderful life for my brother and I.
Yeah, it's really nice place for kids to grow up and go to school here and everything else. It's just yeah, down there the school is sometimes a little rough, and,
Hmm.
it's nice
For
that you
sure.
definitely have
It
that.
was. So I give my parents so much credit for everything, all of my success,
Nice.
professionally, personally, and all that. They really did make a lot of those types of sacrifices for us when we were younger. And as
Yeah.
I got older and older, and I still get, older and wiser, I notice and understand a lot more of what they did at that time, and how they, again, I was able to play sports and play music and experiment and really find out who I was as a person, and they allowed me to do that.
Right. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that. That's so
Yeah,
important to have that encouragement behind you because if you don't, you could still do it, but it would probably take you a lot longer
for
to
sure.
do it maybe older. Because when you're a kid, you need that support, there's things you just
100%.
can't do on your own, so it's nice to have them behind you, which is really awesome.
100%.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, knowing that you're in the entertainment business and you're a performer and an artist overall, I can that kinda covers the whole thing, right? Being an
Yeah,
artist,
for sure.
right?
For
That just
sure.
says everything. Did you always know younger that you wanted to be in this field? Because, like, I always said, "I wanna be an actress," and then I didn't have the support that you had, and there was not a lot of stuff happening when I wanted to do that, so I put that, like, all stayed, but then later in life, yes, I did, so I was like, "Hey, that came around," but
There you go.
did you always have that?
I
Um,
did. I did have it from a very young age, and it started for me like in elementary school. I was in band and I was in chorus, so singing and playing an instrument. I played saxophone, so I learned that. I learned how to read and write music at a young age as well. So I already
wow.
kind of had that by fourth or fifth grade, and performing. I already was doing chorus concerts, or a big moment for me was the fifth grade play. I still reference it all the
Ah,
time now because that was the moment that I think my parents kind of realized it as well too. That
what was it?
it was an original play actually that our school teachers and I guess the staff and faculty kind of created,
Oh.
and so it was called the Millennium Bug because it was the year 2000 is when I like graduated fifth grade to go to middle school, junior high, and all that. So Y2K and like that, there was like a lot of that stuff back then, right? So the idea was I went for the main role. I went for the leading role and I got it. And I told my parents in going for it, I told them, I said, I want to be in the fifth grade play and I want the leading role and I'm going to get it. And I told my parents that as a fifth grader. They still remind me to this day, all the time. It's a very proud moment for them. So, and that's what I did. And that's kind of where it started. It's like I already knew about like how I wanted to set a goal. I knew I wanted to perform in front of people. There was plenty of kids in my class that were like, stick me in the back. I'll just pretend to sing. And I was like, no, put me right in the front. I want to do my solo. So there was like a lot of that, even at a very, very young age. I mean, maybe I was 10 years old. So I think that's kind of where it began. And then over the next few years, as I became a teenager, it kind of started to grow and my interest and passion started to reveal themselves a little bit more.
I love that. I love that you spoke that out, okay? I'm all about
Yeah.
that. When you feel it, right? You feel
Yeah.
it in your gut. You're like
Hmm.
sometimes they say something and I'm like, "Oh, no, not feeling that." But when they say
Yeah.
it and I know I'm doing it, and maybe I don't know how I'm doing it and it looks
Correct.
crazy, but I know I'm doing it. That is
Yes.
so awesome. Isn't that the best feeling in the
It
whole
is,
world?
and
It is
that's something again that I was very lucky enough and blessed to have that at a very young age. I kind of recognized and felt that.
right.
So once like doing that and going through it, and then getting the part, and then learning it, and then learning the songs, and I loved it, and I just wanted to do it more. I just wanted to be on stage. I love to perform. I
Wow.
love to be the center of attention and all that stuff. At
Yeah.
even again at that age, so it was just only a matter of time before it grew and progressed into
Right.
what it is today.
And you never dropped it along the way. You stayed with it in some capacity, like, as
Yeah,
you were
in some
growing?
capacity for sure. I started DJing when I was 15.
Wow,
So
okay.
between 10 and 15, I was still doing chorus and band a little bit here and there. I would say in high school, I kind of got away from that a little bit, and sports really became my biggest passion at that time.
Okay.
But music and entertainment was always there. It was always a part of me. And then I think even to this day, sports and music is my two biggest passions, the two things that I really truly love the most.
That
Um,
Yeah.
and part of my balance of my life and who I am.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, so now you're saying so you sang. See, I didn't know that part. I didn't know that you sang. So I
Well,
was
I mean, chorus and as a middle schooler,
well,
elementary schooler, a little bit. But
well,
I can carry a tune. Let's say.
if you got the lead though, did you get the lead you said, right? So were you
Yeah,
singing?
I did in the fifth grade. So there was some singing. There was a lot more acting actually in that, and I had
Yeah.
a lot more monologues to deliver, if you will. And there's not many fifth graders that can deliver a monologue in front of a couple
Right.
hundred people. But that was something
No.
that I was able to do, kind of at that time, and
Right.
again, still do to this day.
Now, I heard you because I was investigating you, I love it, and I heard you say and I'm in awe of this because I heard you say, like, you never get nervous, you just get excited. Now, I always feel, like, nervous, but I'm like I try to say, "I'm excited," that doesn't work, but, so I try. Once I start, I'm good, like, even doing this, I'm like, "Okay," I'm always like, "I want everything perfect and blah, blah," but once you're on, I'm like, "Okay, I'm good,"
Then
like,
we're good,
I'm
right?
not nervous now, but
You're right.
beforehand so that just is totally amazing, especially being young, like, starting from young and never really feeling nervous about it, just being happy and excited. That's, like, amazing to me.
Yeah, again, I'm very blessed in that way. I can't really, describe it or explain it, but just, I've always been that way. Even as a 10-year-old, there was
Yeah,
never a fear or, once I was actually enjoyed the performance and actually doing the play in front of people much more than rehearsing it in the music room. Like,
yeah,
there, and most people are the opposite. Like in rehearsal, they're nailing it, and then all of a sudden the lights go down, the bright lights go on, and there's people looking at you, and they kind of freeze. For
yeah.
me, it was kind of opposite. It was
Oh,
almost like in the rehearsal, I'm kind of bored and more like, when are we gonna do this for real? Like, I was like so much anticipating, looking forward to it. And
right.
then when those lights came on, it was like, all right, now it's go time. Now I'm ready.
Oh my
Hey
god.
everybody. And I truly, to this day, even with my performances and my gigs and how I work, yeah, it's still very much the same way. I don't get that feeling of nervousness or what am I gonna do or what am I gonna say. I'm just more or less ready and like, man, it's only 10. I gotta wait till 10 p.m. to get to the show tonight. Like I want the day to go by faster just so I can get there and get to performing because it's
Wow.
what I truly love. It's what I really truly love to do. I love to perform. I love to entertain people, and it's what gives me purpose. It's what gives me life. So
Yeah.
again, there's no nerves to kind of settle. It's like this is where I'm supposed to be.
That is so awesome. That is a true gift. You know that, right? I hope you know that.
100%. No,
Go ahead.
100%. It's not like I said. I've had this since I was a kid. It's not like something I learned or got better at
Mhm.
as a time. It was just something
Right.
very natural. And in the beginning, and as a kid, as a teenager, even starting to DJ, I would almost be confused as to why other people weren't like that or weren't.
Right.
I thought they were weird, and I'm realizing as I get older, I'm the weird one. I'm the one that most people are like this, and this is different from me. But
Yeah.
I've kind of like again, as you like grow and you kind of learn your identity and who you are and who you want to be, and you get older as an adult, kind of
Mhm.
recognize that, and I'm truly grateful and appreciative that it's a part of who
Wow.
I am.
Yeah, it's really and I saw it in action. So I will tell you, it is a true you don't even put on an act. That is you. Like, you are
Yeah,
that
thank you. That
it
means a
really is,
lot. That's a great compliment to me. It's like some
really.
people like it's like an act. They're like, okay, now it's time to go to work. I got to turn that switch on. But I'm
No.
glad again you notice and you can see it's just who I
Yeah,
am. I'm just me being in my natural element. So
exactly.
what's like what really resonates with people as well, I think.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And,
Thank
I
you.
heard this I don't know where in your timeline this so you can just tell me, but I heard that you performed at the Apollo.
Yes, I
When was
did.
that? Where was that? What were you doing at the time? What
Oh man,
performance?
The Apollo story. I love this story. So the Apollo is to this day still one of my most memorable performances. Um, and for again, native New Yorkers, the Apollo rings bells, right? And I
Yes.
think the interview you're referring to, I was doing with some guys out from Texas, and
Okay.
I said the Apollo, and they went the Apollo. Like even they knew what. Whoa, you performed the Apollo?
Yeah.
So it was a huge deal for us. As I mentioned, DJing and producing. I've worked with a lot of different groups and acts and performers and artists over the years. And one of those groups is a group by the name of L Squad. L Squad was kind of the first group to ever like invite me to the studio as a teenager. Like, hey kid, you got some talent. Why don't you come by the studio and see how a record's put together and see how this is really done? So they were
Right.
the first guys to kind of open up to me and do that. And I'm proud to still be an active member of the group today. I mean, a
Wow.
lot of has changed over the years, and the lineup has changed, and all that kind of stuff that happens with groups and bands. But um, we're all still very much a part of it.
So they how did they meet you? What were you
So
doing?
so this is before the Apollo. This is they met me through sports, actually, through baseball and
Oh,
softball. So one
wow.
again one of those divine intervention kind of moments where we had mutual friends, and I mentioned that I was passionate about sports. I played college baseball.
Mhm,
So there was a time where I was into sports and music and kind of balancing that and figuring
mhm.
out who I was going to be. And I happened to meet these guys on the ball field. And it was one of those things where one of our friends said, "Hey, yo, you know these guys make music, right? Like, yo, you know Andrew DJs, right?"
Oh,
And
gee.
we're, "No, I didn't know that." "Oh, no, oh, cool, cool, cool." So
Wow,
very one of those very organic, natural moments, and it has literally created a lifetime of friendships
wow.
and work and art that we're so very proud of. And friends of mine that I was just at Ben's house recently, and we're hanging out and just watching some sports, talking music. "What are you listening to lately, bro?" Like we
Yeah,
still have that very, very close. So
that's awesome.
that's L Squad. And then fast forward a few years after being a part of the group, we got this opportunity to perform at the Apollo.
Wow.
So I'll make it quick. Long story short, I was unable to make the audition
Okay.
because I was booked at another gig in Florida.
Oh,
So this opportunity comes across, they say the audition date and they say it out loud. And I said, "Oh no, I'm
oh,
not going to be here, fellas." So my boys went to the audition, stood in line for like hours, like your classic audition story with
wow.
the number on your chest, like waiting in line, waiting, and to do like a 2 minute performance, maybe
Oh,
like 90 seconds, like
yeah.
wait 7 hours for like 90 seconds.
Oh my god.
And, don't call us, we'll call you kind of thing.
Right.
And didn't hear back for weeks, maybe a month or two even. And then one day we're working and we're doing our thing, and we get that call. "Hey,
Oh
you
my
guys
god.
have been accepted, and your audition, and we would like to have you perform here at Showtime at the Apollo." So
Wow.
amazing experience, just incredible. Preparing for that show, we went down a couple times to watch it and watch other performers and see what they were doing and what
Yeah.
advice or tidbits we could get from it. And just an amazing, amazing experience. And we performed our own original music there, which is not a lot of people get to do. Our own original
Wow.
song that I wrote and produced,
Wow, no
and
way.
in front of a crowd of thousands. And we got cheered, and we didn't get booed off the stage like they used to do
That
back in the day. The Sandman or the toe tapper they had.
yes,
Like,
that was
no,
the
we
big
lasted
thing.
it.
But okay, so when you say you performed, what was your part in it? What did you do? What
So in the group, I'm the hype man. So I'm like everybody put your hands up, put your hands
Oh,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
okay.
and I do a lot of like the intros and like the choruses or the
Oh, I
hooks.
love it.
And then I have my guys who are the rappers. They're rapping, you know what I mean? The
Yeah,
verses
yeah.
in between, and I'm kind of ad libbing or doing like the in between spots or the that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I
so
love
yeah,
it.
so the beat like it first comes in, you got to rub the stump. That's like the you
Mhm.
rub for good luck. I got to put my hand on there and immediately, from the top to the middle to the bottom, hands up, and just kind of get right into it. It was amazing
Oh
experience.
my god. Now was that recorded or too long ago that they didn't record that?
No, we have it. My parents were in the crowd, and my dad has the video of it from the crowd on his phone, basically like
Oh,
this. So
I
we don't
love
have
it.
like a full like produced video, or it
Yeah,
wasn't on TV at that time. Like how it
yeah.
was like back and forth between TV and streaming and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But we do have the video. Yes, it's there. It's online somewhere. Lives on
Wow,
YouTube.
I love it.
Um,
Oh
be there
my god.
forever. Yeah,
That's
amazing.
huge. That's huge.
Thank
Because
you.
yeah,
Thank you.
the booing off the stage was such a big deal
Yeah,
that
we
you're
saw
like,
it. We saw other acts right in front of us get booed off stage, and man, we nobody wants to be in that position.
"No."
Nobody. And we did it. We actually made it to fourth place.
Oh,
And the top three that night went on to like the finals. So we were like one or two votes short of like
wow.
going to the next stage. We would have been on TV with a real, with Steve Harvey or whoever was hosting at that time. Like
Right,
we were
right.
really far along in the process, and really got really far. So it's just an amazing experience overall. Just something so
Oh,
memorable.
wow.
Part of my career I'll always have, and always be
Yeah.
very proud of.
Oh, absolutely, and you well should be. That is just amazing.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank you.
god.
Thank you very much.
So Okay, so we'll walk through your career journey then. So you have tell me what's next. So how did you get I know what you do now, but I want you to talk.
Sure. So a
Tell
lot
me.
of different, a lot of pit stops along the way, that's for sure. And let me say that too to anybody else who's out there who's an artist or a creator or entertainer of any sort. Like I've reinvented myself so many different times along the way. Like what I had in my mind as a 10-year-old to be a performer, and then as a 15-year-old when I first started DJing, is
Mhm.
eons from where I am today. And I never could even really put that all together. I mean, at that time, I think I wanted to be like a radio DJ or something. You know what I mean? And like
Yes.
it just
Yes.
changed and switched over. And I did get to do radio for a little while. I had my own show. So I
Oh,
like dabbled in
good.
a lot of these different things over the years. But um really I've always been a DJ at heart. That was my first job. It was the first way I ever earned money as a 15-year-old was DJing. And the emceeing is really what kind of took over. It was very quickly my voice and
Mhm.
my energy and my presence was pretty recognizable at that time as a teenager. That was different from my competition or the other guys that were doing what I was doing. So I
Right.
kind of again recognized that as a teenager at a young age, and I really put a lot of time and effort and energy into that, honing my craft as an MC and as a host, and that really has opened up a lot of doors for me that maybe DJing wouldn't have or couldn't have done.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
so doing that and then learning how to be that a DJ and an MC as a teenager. By the time I got in my 20s, I was doing it, professionally. I was actively DJing clubs and private events and stuff like
Mhm.
that. That's when I meet L Squad. And then another turning point would have been when I met my business partner, still to this day, Eddie Scissorhands, DJ Eddie Scissorhands. Shout out my brother. We met around the same time I met with L Squad, like the early 2010s, and around 2015 is when we created our company together called the Crowd Kings. So that's
Oh.
kind of what brought a lot of those elements: DJing, emceeing, music, the production, the songwriting, and some of the other things that we do as artists now. Is kind of when we kind of opened up that platform and
Mhm.
began to kind of be more involved in that stuff, I would say.
Wow. So you're partners with him now, you've got that business with him, and then I know you've got the business there's, like, offshoots, right, that you have
Yeah,
your own?
it's a lot.
So
It's a spider web at this point.
it's
So
good, that's good.
yeah, but again, that's part of like reinventing yourself and finding
Yes.
different things that you're passionate about and how it's all relatable, right? It's like it's all
Mhm.
entertainment, it's all music related,
Right.
but how do we find different avenues and different ways to reach different types of people? And that's
Right.
something that we've been able to do. So we have Eddie and myself, we have multiple businesses together. We have a couple private party event businesses where we do weddings, sweet 16s, quinceañeras, mitzvahs, stuff like that. And then we have another side of that business which does like corporate and community events. We work with
Oh,
like a lot of like nonprofits and corporate doing like AV audio visual support for those types of things.
oh,
It's another
great,
facet of our business.
great.
And then we have the music production and songwriting. So Crowd Kings was that. It was like we were a DJ producer duo. And we not only
Oh.
DJ'd and MC'd and performed, but we also wrote songs and produced songs in the studio. So it was like a twofold kind of a thing. So
And you do
yeah,
this
go
for
ahead.
other people? I was gonna say because 'cause I'll forget. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. No, please do.
Sorry. It's like
Yeah.
it's a family trait. I'd be like, "I gotta jump in right
No,
now."
listen, we're talking, right? There's a lot to unfold here, but yes,
I know,
we
I'm
did it
trying
for ourselves and we did do for
for
other
other
people
people.
as well too. Correct.
Okay. So you
Artists
will
would come to us and want a beat from us. Hey, I would like a beat from you guys, or I want you
Nice.
to produce this song, and
Right,
we have them in the studio and all that.
right.
And then that was like a lot of that was between 2015 and 2019, right? Like
Okay.
we're producing records now. We're producing our own videos, writing songs. I'm working with L Squad, I'm working with Crowd Kings. Like I have a lot of different avenues, and L Squad's like hip hop and rock based, and Crowd Kings is like EDM and dance based. So
Okay.
like once again, I'm hitting like different demographics and different target
Right.
markets and doing, Friday night I'm with this group at this venue that's a little bit more underground and like battle of the band style, and then
Right.
Saturday night I'm in like the upscale rooftop doing this. And learning how to balance all of that stuff is really the skill set that has provided so much for me now in my career. Because again, a
Wow.
lot of people get stuck in like one thing, like they either
Yes.
DJ clubs or they DJ weddings or they DJ in their bedrooms online for streaming, right? Like that's like a big
Mhm.
thing now. So
Right.
getting those experiences, like I said, I can really perform to any crowd, any demographic, any age group, any
Wow.
genre, any decade, you name it, we can do it, and I can do that. So that was kind of like the growth of that whole area of my life and of my career.
Wow. It's so funny because I wrote down, which I don't have to ask you this now. I was gonna say, you're so diversified. How do you keep it fresh? Well, now I know because
That's the
that's
secret.
that's the secret is not doing the same thing over and over and over. And I'm the same way. It's not I don't know if I could do something over and over and over and still be happy with it or still do it
Ex-
the right way.
exactly.
Some
Right.
people can. Some people can do
Some
that,
some
you
people
know.
can, and I have
Yeah.
plenty of friends of mine that are in this
Mhm.
business. Let me say that they DJ weddings every Friday and
Wow.
Saturday. They have 6 to 8 weddings a month,
Wow.
making wonderful money. You know what I mean? Like wonderful businesses, and they're providing a lifetime of memories for these people. Again, kudos to those people. But I knew at that time that I knew if I did it every weekend, it would just
Mhm.
become so. For me, it's fun to have 1 or 2 weddings, 1 or 2
Right.
clubs, a few bars, maybe a couple private events or a birthday or a graduation. I'm mixing it up in there. And
Mhm.
it keeps my weekends and my week to week like fresh and new. And again, like as you said, keeps me diversified. Like I have to play to an older crowd on Friday night, and Saturday I'm playing to a bunch of teenagers, and
Right.
keeping me fresh with what's still good from back in the day and
Yes.
what's hot right now.
Right,
So
because that's what it is, keeping current with things. Because we can all get into our little, thing of doing a routine, and then you kinda don't even you think you're paying attention, but you're really not, and
nah,
so you're not keeping current with 'cause things change, like, so fast.
so
So
fast.
oh my god, I know who to go to. I'm gonna tell everybody about you, like, "Oh, you need that? Andrew does it. You get
That's
it."
it. I
Yeah.
got it. I got it covered.
This is so great.
Oh, sis.
Um, oh my gosh. I love this conversation because a lot of the
Me too.
stuff
I'm
I
having fun. I'm having a blast. I could do this all night, and let's go.
Me
Keep
too, me
them coming.
too. That's
Keep them coming.
it. That's it. So, like, music, okay? Let's just talk music for a second. So, for me, music in my life and I don't play an instrument and none of that stuff. I don't play anything like that, but music is so significant because depending on where I'm at in my life, in my head, in my what that's what changes. So, my genre is even not the same. Like, I'm
Right.
not one of those, like, I just like rock or I just like country or I just like I'm not. I am like,
Right.
"Okay, that one just hit me?" So, or do you feel the same way? Do you have, like, a wide range for yourself that you feel you
Oh
get
yeah.
gets to you?
So much so. It's the same way, kind of in the same way of how I like to DJ and perform is very much how my musical tastes are.
Mhm.
Um, Kind of interesting too, like because I perform so much out, right? I actually don't really listen to a lot of new music, like when I'm like just by myself or just relaxing or hanging out. I listen
Mhm.
to a lot of older music.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
60s and 70s. I love the 60s and the 70s. I
Yes.
listen to Motown and soul music
Mm.
from the 60s and 70s. I love that is my favorite music of all time. So if
Yeah.
I'm like home and like watching the girls or I'm doing chores or something along those lines, like that's what I'm listening to. Just purely listen, like not to be critical of, not to be like, to give an opinion about or anything like that. When it's just truly like just want to listen to good music, it's a lot of music from back in the day.
Right.
I will say with the newer music, I think that is a little bit more work for me at this point. Like
Mhm.
I don't like go out and seek after new music like I guess in a way that I once did. I feel like that's part of getting older, right? Like you start feeling like, oh, this music's not as good as my music was back in the day, or right? Like I feel like I'm starting to get to that point now. But
Right.
obviously, it's part of my job. It's a part of my tasks every week. I have to be current with that stuff, and then there's new stuff that comes out that I do like. That I'm like, oh, you know what? I like this, or I can vibe with this a little bit. So
Mhm.
that kind of keeps me current and fresh with the taste of what's happening now. And when you're doing sweet 16s and quinceañeras and other parties like that, or college parties and stuff, you need to know what's hot right now and what's on the charts
Right.
and stuff like that. So there's definitely a balance there, but
Mhm.
everything in between. And I'm an 80s kid. I was born in the 80s, but
Yeah.
grew up in the 90s. So obviously
Yeah.
90s hip hop and R&B and
Oh,
2000s early hip hop, like that for sure is, a sweet spot
yes.
for me. But it's very much to the day, the time, the mood. It can change 3, 4, 5, 6 times in one day.
Yeah, right,
sometimes. So,
right, and I'm
yeah.
like, if
Oh, for
anybody
sure.
knows me, you'll know my mood if you know what I'm listening to, like, a big
Yeah.
player, you just know it, like, it just changes, it's just
Yeah,
great.
and if you're in the kitchen like chopping onions and like metal's on, you kind of know like what's up. Like really taking it out on the dishwasher and like Metallica's going. You're like, all right, you know what? You know, right?
You're like,
I get it. I
"I'll
get
be
that.
back later, I'll be back
Yeah,
later."
yeah. I got you, man. I
It's
got you.
true, but so many
Yes.
things got me through, like, even motivational, right? Like, music that's upbeat and whatever. If I'm working on a goal that is, like, I feel is not it's not there yet, and I really gotta do it. There are certain songs I will put a playlist together, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, I just love it. It's just amazing. It's just such a
Music is so
great thing.
powerful. It can
Mhm.
inspire you. It's music is the universal language. That's one
It
of my
is.
favorite quotes.
Absolutely
It can
true.
relate to anybody and everybody. So
Yeah.
it really is. It helps to inspire us and helps
Yeah.
push people forward. So I love it and I love to be a part of it all the time.
Yeah, it's great, it's great. I give you a lot of credit too because doing weddings and things like that, I'd be a wreck, I'd be a nervous wreck, but it's so great, like, because you love it, that's what you do, so that's good.
And yeah, I hear that a lot too. A lot of DJs say the same thing, like, nah, that's why I stick to the clubs because I play what I want to play and I don't have to play what they want when they want it. There's a lot of
Right,
pressure in that.
right.
And again, my cool, calm nature is what helps the brides and the grooms feel comfortable on their day when they're feeling
Yes,
nervous or they don't
yes,
know what to do or well, I don't know. I never got married before. Do I? And I'm
yes.
the one to say, I got you. Don't
I
worry. Go have
know,
fun. I'm going to take care of this. We got this covered. Don't worry about
oh
it.
my
And
god.
being there for that is again, it's important.
That's golden, no joke. I mean, that is golden, like I said, your whole demeanor, who you are, and because 'cause you're truly that way, that's just, like, golden for anybody, really. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Oh my god, thank
Having
you, this
fun?
is so great. I love this.
This is great. I'm having so much fun. This is
Me
awesome.
too, me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I saw you, when I met you, we talked because I said I'm a voice actor, and you said you were thinking of doing voiceover, or you've done some voiceover, right? And what I love, I'm
Sure.
going to say, I love that our voices are loud and proud, and
In New
and
York.
and we're
And
New York, all right?
yeah,
That's it. That's it.
that's
So we
right.
can be as loud as we want, and that's it.
Amen.
So, are you have you done? Are you planning on doing any more voiceover or any of that? What's happening with that?
Absolutely. So yeah, kind of actually where I left off when talking about the career stuff is when it all changed. So in 2020 is when it all really changed over again. We talked about the pandemic and the effects that that had on everybody, obviously including people in the entertainment and music world. So it was in 2020 where I kind of looked ahead into the future, and I realized once all parties and events were being canceled that we weren't essential workers was the term at that time, so we couldn't work. That we kind of needed or I needed a backup plan, or I needed something else or another outlet, right, to express myself. Really, that's what it came down to. So the first thing that we did, my groups and I that I mentioned, was create a record label. So the Party Never Stops Records was established in 2020. And that was the first thing. It was like, all right, all of the events were canceled. The calendar's been cleared. Now what? We had already been writing songs. We'd already been producing songs for other people and stuff like that, like I had mentioned. So this was the first time that we had the time and the ability to dive in and do it all in for ourselves. So we created this record label. We got a group of guys together that we had all been working with, songwriters, producers, media people as well. And we got to work on that. In that, I found the voice my voiceover, voice acting became a little bit more of a passion of mine in doing a lot more studio work and doing a lot more record label work. I was always the one that did all the promos. I was always the one that did all of the advertisements and all of the 30-second wrap ups and recaps. And because I was the voice, right? So
Right.
when someone had an album on our team, they had their album dropping, it was me doing the commercial to say, go listen to WTT. And so like all of these things were happening kind of again organically and naturally, and it just more or less kind of like developed more and more into saying, man, I would love to do this more. Like I could do this right from home. I don't have to go anywhere. I have to worry about a venue. I don't have to worry about hiring a staff to run an event or something like that. Like so it just kind of opened up my mind and my ideas to a lot more. So as I was doing that, I got a call from my former baseball coach at SUNY Orange, and he said, "Hey man, you came up. I thought about you. We're doing this presentation, and we need like a voiceover recording. And have you ever done that before? Like, would you be open to it? Are you available?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, coach." And he's like, "Well, pay him." He's like, "I'll throw you a couple bucks." I was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. And that was my first paid voiceover gig. So that was probably around 2020, also maybe 2019. And I've done that one every year since. So every year they have me come back and I do the recordings for their presentation every year. And then between that and the label, some more opportunities came for another artist. Another artist heard me doing a promo for our album and was like, "Can you do an intro for my album? That would be awesome." And it kind of led to some more opportunities and work like that. So here we are in 2025, and I still think like I'm dabbling, like I still am not like 100% all the way in it because I'm so busy with DJing with the businesses now. Once everything kind of from the pandemic lifted, we got back to work and back out onto the road and such. But it's definitely something that I'm continuing to grow with, and talking with people like you, Ann, who you've given me some help and some advice and direction, and hey, talk with this group or talk with that group if you want to learn, or you told me a little bit about your experiences and doing accents and things like that. So it's all me now. I'm working on my craft and looking more to do that. I know that as I get older, I'll probably be less out on the road performing and doing so much of all the hands-on stuff. I have a team of guys that can do that, and I can do a little bit more to help me balance the family, the business, and kind of everything in between. So
Yeah, that's great, and it's part of, like you're saying, it's part of the, what you're doing, the artist part of you. It can be a little piece of voiceover. It doesn't have to be your full-fledged everything, but it's
right,
something that you do as well, which is really it's amazing. So that's so cool. I love that, and I love that you have because you have a team of people now, correct? Like, that you
yes,
work with, which is
absolutely.
really, really great. Did that at the beginning, it was well, you had your partner from kinda almost the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, it's me, and then it's L Squad, and then it's Crowd
Mhm.
Kings, right? And we have just a couple groups, a couple guys here in a group, and
Right.
but it's grown and it's expanded in a lot more different ways. And I couldn't have even imagined at that time.
Wow.
We have
That's
other
wild.
DJs now that we train, that we bring up along, teach them the ropes and bring them along the way. And MCs, we're going through MC training right now, media people. I have a
Oh,
media team of
nice.
guys, graphic designers, photographers, videographers that
Okay.
at any given call, if an event comes up and people need media support, I can go into a group chat and say, hey, anybody available, who's available,
Yeah.
and just having those resources and having like a strong team around us is been incredible.
Yeah.
Hard work, really
Yeah.
hard work. Been through a lot of trials and tribulations through that.
Yeah.
People who we started out with us aren't with us any longer. People want to go out and do their own thing, and people
Mhm.
like one group that was like this at one point. People start having different ideas and want to go in different
Right.
directions, and it's great and it's fine. Like we can encourage all of that, but
Mhm.
definitely learning that and experience going through those kinds of experiences in the past has helped
Right.
me as a leader now, and certain people that I'm
Mhm.
looking for and who we're going to hire and who we're going to bring onto the team is certainly changed over the years based on some of these things that we've learned. And maybe they're super talented and really have great strengths, but maybe they're not a total fit with us as a group. And maybe they
Right.
need to be, we have people who are a part of our team, but they're not really like under us or a direct part of it, but more
Mhm.
like support, or hey, if we get overwhelmed or too busy with work, I
Mhm.
have a couple guys on my sides here that I know that they can do the job as well. And now,
Wow.
so now they're like, extended part of our team. So like, like the roles and the different identities of everyone has changed over the years. But
Yeah.
again, that's something we're still learning and growing as we build our team, and having that, being able to depend on them is again, it's key for me with a family and
Right.
being able to balance the work and the business life. I
Yeah.
definitely would not be able to do it without my team, so I give them a lot of credit.
No, I can't imagine, and I think what happens is when you first start anything new and you're excited and whatever, the people you're with, you think you're all gonna stay together. You think you're gonna be together all the time, but then people grow in different directions or things happen, and then
Right.
you learn that that's okay, that's the process
Yeah,
of
and then
what
maybe at
happens.
the time you weren't sure if it was okay, but again, you learn that it's okay, and
Right.
like people, started having a family like myself and another one, they
Right.
started having kids, and maybe their time was a little bit less into the group, and they had to spend more time with their families. And again, as
Right.
I've gotten older, I've seen and realized that so much more, that there's so much
Mhm.
that goes into this behind the scenes that you don't really get to see when you're on stage and performing. You're
Yeah.
at the show, and
Yeah.
you're having a good time. You don't really understand that there's all
Yeah.
the different people's personalities and lives that are behind there, and trying to balance all of that as well.
Right.
So again, you learn a lot in this business, and I certainly have, and
Mhm.
I learn something new every day. I always try to keep to that. You learn something new every day. Like I don't know it all, but I've done well for myself, but I'm still learning and growing as we continue to grow and expand our brand and our companies.
Yeah, I think that's so great. Now, I love the name, The Party Never Stops. Is that what it is? The
Thank
Party
you.
Never Stops?
Yes, it
Okay.
is. The party never.
Okay.
Let me
Right,
get
there it
get the
is.
logo in
There
there.
it is.
Get the logo
I
in
like
there right
it.
here. Yes, the party never stops.
And I could tell, so true. And now, how did you get your name? Your name is DJ Grand, right?
Yes, DJ Grand Grand
Finale.
Finale. Grand
Grand
Finale is the full name.
Finale.
My
So,
first and last name. Yeah.
yes, your first and last name. So,
Yes.
was that from the beginning, or did that come in later, or how did you
No, so that's a funny story. So Grand Finale Productions was my first company I ever created when I was 15 years old. And the reason that I chose Grand Finale, why that term stuck out to me was as a kid, again, I was 15, but as a kid and as a teenager, I had learned to that point that the grand finale to me was the best part. Whether
Okay.
you were talking about
Yeah.
fireworks or if you're talking about, a Broadway show
Right.
or a performance of any type, whenever it was like, oh, here comes the grand finale, or even like a TV show, right? It was like the grand finale was like the final episode. They put all their effort and bells and
Yeah.
whistles into this last bit. And like it was like the most memorable thing was like that was like the stamp of it. So
Right.
grand finale had stuck out to me, and I knew when I wanted to create the name of my company, Grand Finale Productions, that's what I wanted. I wanted when you hired us or you heard our name, or what I say us, and it was me. I was 15 years old at the time.
Right.
But when you hire me, that's what you can expect. Like the grand finale, like the best part, the high energy, like all the
Right.
bells and whistles, like that's what you can come to expect. So I was originally DJ Grand, just DJ Grand, and
Mhm.
I took it off of Grand Finale. And then
Okay.
I went with that for a little bit. I had a buddy of mine who was DJing with me at that time when we were teenagers,
I love
and
it.
his name was DJ Finale. So Grand and Finale, Grand Finale Productions.
I
And
love it.
then he didn't want to do it much longer. He just had like doing it as a hobby. And then when I really wanted to like elevate this as a business,
Right.
um, that he had left, and then it was just me, DJ Grand with Grand Finale Productions. And I mentioned baseball, like I was a baseball player,
Yeah.
played in college. So I for a very short time I toyed with DJ Grand Slam. I
Oh, I
added the
like that.
slam
Yes,
onto
yes,
it
yes,
for the
yes.
baseball and that
Yes,
vibe. But
yes.
that was very short lived. I kind of figured it, and like the name Grand Finale had stuck with productions, and I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? What if I just take on the full name and
Mhm.
become DJ Grand Finale? So I think that was probably around like 18 or 19, I would
Wow.
say, when I
Wow.
went from DJ Grand to DJ Grand Finale, and it's been that ever since, no doubt about it.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you started at 15. Like, that is just like, what I don't know, a mission, like you were on a mission. Like, this is it. Like, this is what I'm doing.
Again, I got to give it to my parents, man. They were the
Oh,
ones that I would not have been able to do that if it wasn't for them and
I
their
love it.
encouragement and their support. And my father was the one who literally drove me to the music store to go buy the CD player to get started.
Oh,
Like he couldn't wait. He
I love it.
could not wait to do that. So I give him
Oh.
all the credit. Um,
That gives me chills. I love that. It's so important to be supportive because they're into acting and everything else, and there's times along the way, but it's like, yes, just do that. I just have everything but support for them, you know what I mean? Like, even
Absolutely. Let me add an
even
element to this, Ann. You're talking about chills. I'll give you chills right now. So at 15 years old, right, the full story, I'll try to keep it short. The full story is I had come into some money gambling as
oh,
a 15-year-old illegally, right,
I love it.
on football. So again, I'm again passionate. I told you about sports, and I had my dad was in a football pool at his job. So they would
Right,
print out the sheet every week and pick the
right.
games with the point spreads and the over under, who's going to score X amount of points and all this, right?
Mhm.
So it started out like my dad would like ask me, like, what do you think is going to win this game? Boom, boom, boom. And I would pick him all right. He was like winning.
Oh my god.
So that year, when I'm 15, he's like, you want to do this pool with me? Like, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know the picks. So he wrote his name on it. He paid for it, like he was in it, like he was him
Yeah,
and his job. And
right.
he brought the sheets home, and I did all the picks. I
Oh
picked
my
the games, the
god.
point spreads, who was going to win by how much, the over under, all of that. I come in second place in the entire job
No
out of
way.
everybody. Old men, grown men that watch football, that's what they love and do. Come in second place. So I win, a couple
Wow.
thousand. I think it was at that time, maybe $1,500 or $2,000, something along
Wow.
that line. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking I'm going to split that with my dad. Like I'm thinking, he's going to come home and break me off with a few $100. I'm
Yeah.
happy as hell. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So I was all about buying a car. I'm like, this is my down payment for my car. I'm going to be 16 in a few months. I'm going to be
Right.
driving to school. I'm going to be the man. I'm like, I got it. I all figured out. And it
Yeah.
was, again, my dad who said, listen, I have an idea that I want to do with this money. And he was the one that, again, encouraged me and said, I think you should be a DJ. I think you could really take your talent, what you have, to the next level.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
didn't mention this in this podcast, but my dad was a DJ. That's how I
Oh,
got the influence.
yeah. Oh
He
my
was he
gosh.
DJ'd for a short time in the 80s, so he had like a little taste of it,
Oh,
but never
wow.
like fully delved into a business like that.
Right.
So he was the one that I was ready to go to the dealership, and he said, I have a different idea. I want to run this by you.
I
I
love
think
it.
this is what we should do with this money, and I think this is where you can go with it. And
Wow.
didn't take much convincing, although I did really want that car. But my dad was making a lot of sense. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He was making a lot
Yeah.
of good points, and I was
Yeah.
like, all right. And his thing was, with this money, you could buy the DJ equipment, and then you could make that same money back in a year to buy that car that you want. And that
Exactly.
was the lesson, and that's what I did.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you could have the car and that's what you got, or that's where it stops,
Right.
or you
And
can
he
take the
taught me that, or you can buy this
Mhm.
equipment, go
Yep.
out and DJ some parties, make a little bit of money, earn something for yourself, and then
Mhm.
you buy the car outright on your own. And
Right.
that was the lesson. That's what I did. So 15 years old, I was a business owner. I was making money, and I was off and running to the race. And again,
Wow.
I give my dad and I give my mom so much credit. They supported me and they pushed me through that at that time when it would have been very easy to just say, here you go, kid, let's buy that car and be done with
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I give them all the credit.
Wow. That's amazing. I love that. I love that story. That's a good story. I'm glad you didn't cut it short. I'm glad
Yeah,
I
no,
get to do
thanks. I felt like the right time to bring it back up.
that was
So
perfect.
thank you.
So it's perfect. So, sometimes people look at where people are in a situation, right, that they wanna be in, and they're like, "Oh, it was easy for them," or, whatever, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of
For
hard work,
sure.
but it's stuff you love, and it's what you do, and so I believe truly in, like, you have to have a strong why in your life. I mean, do you figure that? And I figure it can change. Younger, it could have been this. It could have been the car, right? It could have been whatever, but then it changes. Do you feel like that you have a strong why when you're thinking of doing something? I know you love it and you enjoy it, but is there something that
Absolutely, I do. It's so apparent to me and obvious to me that this is my purpose. Like doing this and being this
Mhm,
person, Andrew DJ Grand Finale, and entertaining people and speaking to people and connecting with people through my voice and through my personality. Like I truly 100% emphatically
mhm,
believe that that is my why. That is my purpose on planet Earth. There's no question in my mind
mhm,
about it. And that again was something that was I was able to recognize at a really young age. Even just as a teenager, I noticed that effect that I had on people when I was
mhm,
performing at their party or when I was just even just talking about it, just how passionate I was about it and just and I could just see how that would change people in a positive way. Would it, if someone was in a bad mood, I could speak to them and they'd leave in a good mood. And I saw that and I said, man, that's who I need to be. That's why I'm here. That's
yeah,
who I am. And again, I've wholeheartedly believed that and have like every business move, family move, decision, anything that I've done along the way, whether it's life or my career, is based
mhm,
off of that thought, based off of that fact that
wow,
this is my purpose, this is who I am, this is what I'm meant to do.
mhm,
And my goal is to reach and touch as many people as I humanly possibly can in this life while I'm here on earth. So
wow,
for me, that part of the why has never changed. Now,
mhm,
the how changes every day. That's the thing. Like, right? Like the why was always clear to me, but how I was going to do that as a 15-year-old
yes,
and how I do it now as a 35-year-old, totally different, completely
exactly,
different. And every probably 5 or 10 years, I could probably give examples of how it's changed and what I had to do to adjust it. But
right,
I think that's been the key for me is that why has
mhm,
always been there. It's always been constant. So it's been easy.
right,
It's been easier for me to make some of those tough decisions, to make some of those, heartfelt moves those risky moves, those that
Mhm.
many people would be fearful about, or they'd be nervous about, or they'd say, I don't know. To
Right.
me, there wasn't a second thought about it. I was like, no, I know I need to do this, and this is why, because it's what I'm meant to do.
Right. I love that. Oh my gosh. My gosh. I can listen to you talk about this all day long because it's so
I
important.
appreciate you. You're asking all the right questions, man. I mean,
Oh,
that's what
I
matters, though, right? That's what matters
yeah.
to people. It's
Yeah.
like what song I played at this time and all
Yeah.
that, or what song I transitioned into this song into that song. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that stuff gets forgotten. You might forget what song I played at this time, but you will not forget how it made you feel, how
Exactly.
what emotions you felt at that time, and
Yeah.
that's what sticks with people. That's what resonates with people. That's what gets people to call me back. And
Yes.
I've been so blessed to DJ so many parties and parties for kids, and now they're getting married and they're getting engaged, and I'm the first one they call.
I
Like,
love it.
we have so many of that kids that we did their sweet 16, and now they're getting married and we're DJing their weddings. Like,
Oh, wow.
that stuck with the family all those years, and like that to
Yeah.
me is, I'm so proud for those moments. Like that again, that's what this is all about, man. That's
It
why I
is.
really, really love what I do.
Yes, yes, and it's about people, and in life, to me, it's about people,
It is.
anytime anybody says, like, "What do you love about podcasting?" I said, "It's the people,"
It's people.
that's what I love.
I love
I
it.
love this part, it's just great.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh my gosh. So, you do a lot, you've got a family, you've got new babies, and you've got the whole thing, so I wanna know, what does a day in the life of Andrew Torres look like, and how do you stay
A
focused?
day in the life. Well, again, excuse me. The fun thing about what I do and why I love what I do so much is because it changes and it's so different
Right.
sometimes from day to day, or especially from weekend to weekend, I can say. But truthfully, my weekdays and my day to day is not very, luxurious or any of that. It's a lot of diaper changing and bottles and feeding right now, for sure. But
Yeah.
I will say this. This is the important thing that I want to say about that. Making the decisions to be a business owner at the time that I did, and being an entrepreneur and working for myself,
Mhm.
as opposed to going the 9 to 5 route or the day job route, or doing this as a hobby or a side thing. Like, being able to fully put all of myself into it, and 100 of it being myself, and I own 100% of all these names and these brands that we're talking about. That has given me the wonderful opportunity, this point in my life, that I get to pick and choose my calendar and my schedule, and I get to spend time with my daughters every single day. I feed my daughter breakfast, Arabella, my oldest. I feed her breakfast every single morning. And how many dads wake up and get in the shower and they go to their job every day, and they get dinner with them, but I'm there every day for breakfast, for lunch. Like, my mornings and my days are family time. Like, I spend with my wife and with the girls, especially now with she's on maternity leave and with the new baby. And that's the beauty of this. Like I said, like, I have a team. So if a booking comes in that's out of the way, or maybe like it's out of state, or it's like, man, I don't want to be, I can put a team on there. I can put somebody and I can spend the time here. Or if a booking that comes, I've had a few that are like really close by, and I get that phone call like, "Hey, this is kind of last minute. Are you available?" And I look to my wife and I say, "Hey, I got something this Saturday. It's kind of quick. It's a few hours. Like, you be all right
Mhm.
for a few? No problem. I can go do it." And
Right.
having that power to do that is everything.
That's nice.
So, yeah, truthfully, my day to day right now, weekdays, is a lot of diapers. It's a lot of laundry. It's a lot of
Yeah.
chores. It's a lot of keeping this house going.
Yeah.
Um, but the things that remain the same now than 20 years ago when I first got into this, a
Mhm.
couple days a week, I'm on my laptop checking out new music, checking out playlists, updating things for the events that we have coming up. So if I
Right.
know I have a gig on Friday and Saturday, what are the playlist that for each of those events, and putting those together, organizing those. Like, man, I know I'm gonna have to play a lot of disco at this party. Let me get my disco folder and pull out some bangers that I know I want to throw out there. So that part of it stays the same. That's the weekday
Yeah.
work. That's the weekday work. And a lot of that now is in my afternoons and my evenings. Perfect examples right now. I'm doing an interview with you. I'm being featured on
Mhm.
podcasts, or I'm doing a business meeting with a club owner or a new bar manager of a place that we've
Mhm.
been dealing with for a while. Or I have a phone call with a bride and groom that their wedding's coming up in a couple of weeks, and they have some questions that they want to
Right.
finalize before the big day. So
Right.
I'm able to do that in my afternoons and my evenings, but my days, I spend with my family. I spend with my daughters. I
That's
make
great.
sure that that gets in there first, and then
Yes.
I whatever meetings or playlists or calls I have to do, I get done. And then the
Right.
weekends are the weekends. I mean, I'm booked up Fridays and Saturdays pretty much solid
Right.
all the
Right.
time, all year round. So whatever that week events look like will alter kind of like our preparation and all that. But it's
Yeah.
a lot of prep and a lot of behind the scenes. Again, people think you just show up to the gigs and like press
Exactly.
play, but
Exactly.
it's not how it works. There's a lot of this time and effort that we put in behind the
Yeah.
scenes. So
There's a lot of prep to that, and that's really awesome that do you have, like, schedule like, I'm assuming you have a planner of some sort or in your phone, or I have to write it out. I have both. I have it on I fill
and I
out
have it in like five different places. I'm one of those. Okay. Let me be clear about that too. You too, right? I knew you were. I knew it. I have a whiteboard in my studio in my office. I have a notepad in my phone. I have a notebook. Like I still go to like here,
Me
it's right here.
I love
Like
it. I
I
love
still have like a actual like
Yes,
notebook
me
that I'm
too,
like
me too.
writing
Wait,
that
look.
I have to like with a pen and write. You know what I mean? Like so it's on a whiteboard in dry erase, it's in a note
Yep,
and pen, and it's in digital on my phone.
yep,
And I have a calendar on my phone that has all of the events. So like all the
yeah,
different businesses and companies that I'm mentioning and the
right.
different teams. Like we have a shared calendar. So I know like
Yep,
what DJ and MC are doing this Sweet 16. I know what guys are doing that wedding. I know
yeah,
where they're going to be, the location and the details of every party are there.
yep,
So yeah, it's a lot of organization. It's a lot of
mhm,
time management. Not always easy. And again, I have a new daughter, so
right,
time management that was 2 months ago is totally different than what it is now, and
yeah,
what's how much time I have for each task.
right,
Um, but yeah,
right.
it's a lot of exactly planning and staying
Planning and
organized,
yes.
and you know what it's
Being
all
yes,
about, man.
being organized, you gotta do I do it. I have actually, I found the perfect calendar. It took me forever to write. I have gel pens that you can erase because you know, you gotta change things,
That's
so I
right.
erase that. I use Trello, it's an online thing, so I set up
Okay.
my whole thing different s and you could because you can move things, like, around.
Yep.
Yep, I have my phone. I don't put as much on my phone as I used to because I was always like, "What if I lose my phone? What if I do?" You know?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, indeed. I
So
get
I
it.
have it.
I
Yep,
have
no
backups on backups. And then if I
yes,
forgot to write it in my phone, I'm like, wait, I knew what's the name of the new bar manager?
yeah.
Let me look at my notebook real quick. Jeff, that was his name. And let me call Jeff. Let me find him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's nonstop.
yeah.
I mean,
You've
it's
got to, you've got
part of
to,
the business.
and that's you know, what happens with some people is they just don't see that, and they don't wanna do that work, so you get into it sometimes and you're like, "Well, I gotta do all this? So I don't wanna do this." Well, that's not a reality check,
That
you
part
know?
right there, Ann, is
Yeah.
so understated. I cannot
Mhm.
tell you how many DJs have come up to me and say, "I want to be a DJ. I want to do what you do, man. It looks awesome. It's sick. What you do is awesome. Cool. Come meet me at the studio. We'll do this. I'll show you." And then,
Right.
oh, wait a minute. I don't know. This is everything that has involved with. Oh yeah, this is it. This is
Yeah.
how you get to that point right there. So
Yep.
it's fun, man. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what happens, and I have to give a shout out. I don't know your wife, but I'm gonna give her a shout out because, man, she sounds super supportive too,
She
right? It
is. She's
sounds
the
like it's
best.
so wonderful, and
Yes.
that's excellent, and you need that. Like I said, you need that with family and everything.
Oh,
That's
it's so
perfect.
key. No, I give my wife so much credit. I love you, Kat.
Wow.
She's upstairs with the girls right now. But
Tell her she's great. She's awesome.
I will. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll give her the shout out. But here's the deal. I met her DJing.
Ah,
The night we met, she was out with friends and I was DJing, and
oh,
she
I
said,
love it.
he's cute, and and it turned into what it is today, right? So it wasn't like this something new that I did like after we met, or like, you know what I mean? It was a
Right.
part of who I was at that time that we had met. So
Yeah.
she understood that. And, there's definitely obviously some times along the way that
Mhm.
it becomes difficult, those late nights that turn into early mornings, and getting
Right.
home from at 4 or 5 a.m. after a nightclub. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we went through that stuff, but again,
Right.
extremely supportive.
That's great.
Communication is a big thing, is my huge thing. Just
Yes.
I communicate everything, sometimes over communicate, just because I want
Mhm.
her to know, hey, I have this podcast this day, I have this meeting with this person, I have this gig on Friday and Saturday. These are the times
Mhm.
I'm not going to be here. Do we need me to call
Right.
my mom to help with the girls? Can your mom help? You know what I mean? Like we have
Right.
that. And like that's again
That's
so
perfect. So
important. And
important.
so I wouldn't be able to do
No.
anything that I do without my team professionally, and
Right.
with it, my family, my wife and my parents, and everybody. Like it takes a village, as they say.
Absolutely, and it's good the communication you're saying, and it can't be like that last minute thing like, "Hey, like tonight I gotta, figure out. So let's figure it out. No, you need to like know ahead of time, unless something came up, like
And it was
whatever.
on the calendar. Like we had our appointment for when
Yes,
we were going to do this, and it's on our calendar, right on the
right,
fridge. So, between
perfect,
this time and this time, this is when I'm busy. And all
right,
morning today, I was with the girls and we did breakfast,
yeah,
and I've been doing some laundry a little earlier. And then at this time, all of
mm-hmm,
that stops, and I need to
yeah,
focus on what I have in front of me, which is time to elevate
I
today.
love
And
it.
tomorrow it'll be something else, but it's always something. And once again, we have that understanding, we have that communication, and wouldn't be able to do it without it.
No, and it's that discipline. Discipline is so important to be like
Discipline.
that, which is
Yes.
so true.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
so
true.
I wanna ask you, I have a signature question, and I wanna
Okay.
ask you if you have something, so I like to ask this at the end of our conversation. Uh,
Sure.
can you share a moment in your life or career, when you had to show some resilience, experience divine intervention, or you had to pivot in, like, a big way?
Okay. That's a great question. I think I'm going to refer back to the quick story I mentioned about 2020 with the pandemic.
Yes.
I feel like, and I'll add a little bit more context to that. So
Mhm,
2019 was a phenomenal year for us. I mean, just all of those things that I outlined as a 15-year-old and growing, like I had L Squad, I had Crowd Kings. Like we had so much momentum, so much fire going. We did the
mhm,
Apollo, that was 2016. Um, I got a chance to work with Fat Joe, who's a huge name artist. Like all of that was happening like between 2015 and 2019. And like
mhm,
2019 was such a huge year for us. We traveled more, like we did like Disney World that year. We DJ'd at Disney, like so many like bucket list things that you would check off, right? So we
mhm,
were very high on 2020. We were coming into 2020 like this is our year. We had
yeah,
like I think just in the 2 months of 2020 before the pandemic, we had done like Atlantic City. We DJ'd in, we performed in Virginia. Miami was booked. Miami was booked for
wow,
March. So like January, Atlantic City, Virginia, February, March, we're going to Miami. Like
mhm,
later that year, we are going to go to Vegas. We had Cali. Like we had like trips. We had so much planned for
wow.
2020. And then overnight, right? I mean, boom,
Oh,
stop,
man.
hit
Oh
the
my gosh.
brakes. And I remember like it was yesterday. We were in a meeting, like with my team, my group, my label, and everybody all together, and I'm already laying out the plans, the itinerary for Miami. I'm like, our flights
Mhm,
land at this time. We're gonna get in, the Uber. We got to check into the Airbnb. Then, we'll have a little bit of like I'm in it. I'm already in Miami mentally. And
right,
one of our guys was like, "Hey, real quick, are we not even gonna at least mention
right,
coronavirus, COVID? You guys don't see what's going on?" And I'll be honest, I was a little oblivious to it at the time. Like I don't watch the news. I'm not really a person like that
me
does a
too.
lot of that. Like so I was like, oh, what do you mean? Like COVID? Like that'll be no big deal. Like that'll be
Right,
past in a few weeks. Like I thought it was the swine flu or the bird flu or something,
right,
I'd heard of these things in the past. And he
yeah,
said, listen, I just think we need to have a conversation about it. I was like, okay, fair enough. What's everyone's feelings? What's their thought? And all of a sudden, I'm in a room full of people like, we're a little unsure. Should we be going to Miami? Should we cancel? Can we get our
yeah.
money back? Like, holy
Oh my
crap, I
god.
was blindsided. And
Yeah.
I tell you, it was the following Monday, pause. New York City's on pause. Flights are
My
canceled. Done.
god.
Like it
Yeah,
happened so quick.
I know.
So like I just felt like it was one of those moments where like the rugs pulled out from under you, like this
Mhm.
momentum, all of these
Yeah.
plans, and everything just stopped. So like that was again like a real moment of resiliency. Like we had to back to the drawing board, and that ultimately what
Mhm.
came of that was, well, hey, listen, fellas, we're all in this room. We're all writing songs, producing songs. We're all creators. We're artists in our own way. Why don't we just take the leap and make this official? Let's make it official and make our label. And that's what we
Perfect.
did. And it was more like a release or an outlet to kind of get through that time also, right? That
Right.
was tough for all of us to kind of endure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when all the cancellations and the bank account is going down
Oh,
and you're like, man, what are we going to do with our time? How are we going to keep ourselves busy?
right.
And
Right.
doing that as a release just to again keep ourselves busy, keep ourselves out of trouble, and
Mhm.
then turning it into a business. Now I'm doing voiceovers and adding that as part of
Right.
my income. We record and produce records as a part of our income now. Like so, just
Right.
I guess going through all of that stuff really was one of the most for sure like testing moments and times of my life and my
Mhm.
career. And
Yeah.
having to pivot and take all this energy that we had and this momentum, and now where are we going to push it? Push it in this direction now. And
Right.
what came of that is a new business, a new brand. The Party Never Stops was birthed out of that.
That's
Wouldn't be
great.
here without it potentially. And then just a few years later, when all the events and everything came back in, it was just another tool. It was just another resource. It
Yeah.
was another notch on our belt that we had that we were like, hey, we can do that too. Yeah, no problem. We can produce our own
Yeah.
shows. We can go into even further and extending that. So,
Wow.
yeah, that,
Wow.
that to me would be the best example, I think.
That is great. I like to call them I have some things that happened too in the pandemic. I call them pandemic positives.
Yeah, I like that. Pandemic positives, right?
'Cause there was so many things that were not positive, but, if you took some things like you did and you're like, "Okay, now's our opportunity. Let's take this and do this." Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
thank you. Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh. So, before we go, if you can with all the noise out there, with all the stuff happening, with staying busy, what kind of advice would you give anybody to, like, just for staying positive along your journey? Are there things that
Sure.
you
I would say I get that question a lot. Like, what kind of advice would you give to people or to aspiring DJs and to anybody? I think this really translates to any profession and any person. Again, it's more personal than a life or a career thing, excuse me. But
Mhm.
I would say just be authentic, be
Mm,
true to yourself. Like,
yes.
there's nothing that's more rewarding than just being comfortable in your own skin, being 100% authentic into who you are. I do not subscribe to the saying "fake it till you make it." Like, I don't like that at all. Like, we don't say that. We don't use that one around us. Like, I'm not a fan of that. Like, a lot of people do, and they put on this facade and they put on this fancy clothes and outfits for the social media and trying to get those clicks, man. And listen, for some people, it pans out. You can't deny that for sure, that you fake it and you put this persona on of who you are, who you think you are, who you want to be. Some people it works out. Some people they get that fame or they get those clicks, but it's not sustainable. And those are the ones that have the 15 seconds of fame and then they're forgotten about like a one hit wonder, right? Like, if you want like real true happiness or success in this life, just be yourself, man. Be authentic. Be 100% you, because people will, first off, they'll see through the bull, right? Like, if you're faking it or you're putting on that facade, most people can see right through it, right? And then that's a deflection on your character. Now you're not 100% true. You're not, maybe, there's questions come into yourself and who you may be. And that's one thing that I'm blessed, again, and I'm thankful I never had to experience. Like, this is who I've been since day one, since I was 15 years old, and I had that fire and passion to make something of myself. And it's still exactly how I act and how I am to this day. It's just grown or evolved in that way. But um, just be true to yourself, man. Be authentic, whether it's business, whether it's life, and you'll see what kind of benefits you can reap.
I love that. I love it. It's so true. It's so true.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. So is there anything I didn't ask you that you would like to share or
Oh
touch on?
man, such great questions, Ann. I don't know. You're a true pro at this. I mean,
It's it's
on
easy with
my end,
it's easy with you.
yeah. Listen, I appreciate that. No, I mean, again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to come and tell my story a little bit and to connect with new people like yourself. And now I can truly say, like, we've grown into a friendship at this point where we
Yes.
just happened to meet at this event, and
Mhm.
it's turned into something so much more. And again, I'm grateful. Thank you for the
Me too.
opportunity and thank you for having me on. I really, really
Me
appreciate it.
too. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful to have met you too. And, my cousins that were with me, I'm like, "Guess who I'm interviewing tonight?" They say hi. They say hi.
Tell them I said hello. I love them. I appreciate
It
that.
was
Thank
so
you.
great. It was so great. So I would love for you to finish us off by closing out with a quote.
Yes, I got
Okay.
it all ready for you. I was
All right.
thinking,
Your
and
favorite
it's
quote.
my favorite quote, and it's our motto. It's our mantra. Okay, it's the basis behind us and the brand and all of that. And it's very simple. Sometimes it takes a break. Sometimes it may take a pause, but no matter what, the party never stops.
I love
That's
that.
it. It's simple, man. Life is a party and it's
I
fun and it
love
should
that.
be a great time. And listen, long after we're gone and forgotten about, life goes on. The party
Yes,
never stops, man. It goes on and
it's
on.
true.
when we're long dead and gone. So I
Oh my
really
gosh.
I try to put that into my everyday, into my life. That again, sometimes it gets difficult. It may, you need to like
Mhm.
separate yourself or take a little bit of a break here and there when need
Yeah.
be. But no matter what, the party never stops, baby. Keeps going.
Oh my god. I love it. I love it. That is so great. Now tell
Thank you.
people where they can find you.
Oh, please find me anywhere on social media at DJ Grand Finale. That's GRANDFINALE at DJ Grand Finale on all social media. You can find me there and check out some of our websites, some of our brands that I have and work with. The Party Never Stops,
I
Crowd
love it.
Kings, and L Squad. Go check them out.
I love it. Do you sell those, sweatshirts or no?
We do. We have a merch store, an online merch store on the
What?
website. You can find it. Yep, it's right there.
I'm gonna visit.
Yeah, take a look. Take a look at. Check out some of our music that we have online, tpnsrecords .com. And yeah, at DJ Grand Finale will get you to where you got to go from
It'll
there.
get us everywhere, so if we go there
Yes.
okay, that's perfect, then we'll do that. I also wanna thank you. I just had the best time. This is so
Oh,
great.
thank you, man. No, you're the best. Thank you, man. I really truly appreciate it.
Oh, you are the best. I wanna give a shout out to my daughter, Victoria Lynn Purdy, who created the theme song for Time to Elevate, and
Yes.
did a fabulous job, but I thank you so much. I don't wanna let you go. I wanna ask you a million more things, but that's okay. I'm gonna let you get back to your family. You can
Oh, it's all good. Anytime.
Oh
Hey,
my
we can do
god.
this again anytime, man.
We'll do
Anytime
it
for you. I'll
again.
make
We can
time.
do it again. I'll be wearing the sweatshirt next time too.
I'll probably wear a different variation of this sweatshirt too.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.
Alright.
And I really appreciate time to elevate everybody. This was
Life
all
gets
about.
tough, and I know it's hard to cope with the unknown. For all of us, I know it'd be easy if we were perfect, but we're not. So we go to find our faith, to find our hope. It all begins with looking up. It all begins with you. It's time to